We literally have our team come out and show them how to use equipment if they want to. When we have experienced teams come out, we kind of let them do their own thing under the supervision of like our team. As long as everyone's being safe, we don't really care, and not making unwise choices. But we've been doing a lot of that. But they've been fun. We've met a lot of people. We've met team members from the events, as you were speaking too, like these public events where, you get to know these people because they continue to come out to your stuff and you realize that, wow, this person's a really good fit. And I encourage people, wherever you're at and wherever you're listening, there's public ghost hunts everywhere. And it's a great opportunity for novice investigators to go out there and check them out and see, what it's like. Because you may even think once you go on one of them, you might say, hey, this is boring. I don't want nothing to do with this. Or you might catch that bug where you want to be an investigator and you want to maybe tag along with the team. But that's some of the best ways of doing it out there these days, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love that idea of, and that's some things that we're getting into as well. Kind of bringing people into the field that, exactly like you said, showing them how this stuff works, how you set up, how you come to evaluate the whole situation and investigate. Because honestly speaking, some of the TV shows that's on kind of doesn't exactly portray the, you might set 6, 8 hours, 10 hours at an investigation and get absolutely nothing. And we've done that. And then, people turn around and watch TV, and I'm not trying to knock anybody's stuff, but they turn around and watch TV and say, well, they got that, but who knows? They could have been there 26 hours or whatever, before they got this stuff. So all of it's edited.
Well, that's the problem. People don't realize, and us doing a lot of television, I mean, some of those bigger teams out there doing these TV shows, I mean, they're not realizing that the production shows up for 5 or 6 days on location. They're filming multiple days, not just one night. I mean, they have several dozens of hours of video to go through. So it's not always as it appears, let's say on television. So they literally might have 3 days of videos rolling with 25 different cameras.
People have to remember the TV is for entertainment. I mean, that's what people really want.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I don't think too many people would sit down and just watch us paranormal investigators investigating, because probably more than 10 hours of it, you'd be just sitting there with nothing. So, I mean, a lot of times that's why, it'd be like paint drying. You're just watching it. So, I mean, that's why the TV shows are all entertainment.
Sure.
And obviously, I mean, they have to condense. I mean, for sake of television, let's say, for example, like Ghost Adventures, we worked with them multiple times. We worked with them recently, be airing, I think, the first part of March, in a case out in Yuma, one of the most craziest cases we've taken in a long time. But, I mean, they only have an hour show, and 15 minutes of that hour is dedicated to commercials. So that leaves you with 45 minutes to where you have to shove, all this content into. So, it's definitely, they don't want to show, the team setting up all these cameras and how they just sat there for 24 hours. People want to see the experiences. They want to see the human experience. For example, like Zach freaking out because an extension cord touched him that was hanging down. Now, that may not have been paranormal, but it was sure the heck was entertaining for the guy watching it, laughing at Zach running down the hallway, and he knows it. I mean, it's all part of the drama. It's all part of the show. It's not that he's faking that there was something there. It's that, it's a human reaction. I mean, I get scared all the time over stupid stuff, and you see me running around like a moron, and it has nothing to do with paranormal. It's just your mind plays tricks with you sometimes when you spend enough time in a dark room. And with these, like the show we do, Haunted Case Files, this season we had a total of 6 episodes. Still got 3 more, I think, that are going to be airing.
Wow.
You're talking about 4 or 5 dozen cases that you have to pick from, of which ones you want to use. You're going to pick those. If you only have 6 to choose from out of those several dozen, you're going to pick your most horrific, scariest moments, because really that's what entertains the audience. That's what they want to hear. It's not that we're elaborating anything. It's just that, you're going to search through. You don't want to tell them about that nice Casper ghost that came by and, gave you a positive message, because generally production doesn't want it and the network's not going to buy it. So, I mean, that's just the reality of it.
We always get that asked almost everywhere we go. I mean, is it only bad ghosts that you guys experience? Because that's all you guys talk about. I'm like, oh, no, I will say most of my cases are good. I mean, it's really good experiences with spirits and all that kind of stuff. But no one ever wants to hear about it. They want to hear about the time that you got scratched or you screamed or you ran out or something followed you home, or, that's the stuff people always want to hear about. It's very rare anybody wants to hear about the good things.
So we're forced to cherry pick when we do the haunted case files or any show of storytelling, is to really cherry pick those ones that are truly, truly frightening, to where we think that, people would be more interested in listening to. But then, of course, there is that audience that would be like, oh, I would love to watch something about nice, friendly ghosts. And that, there is a market for it, but unfortunately, it's very small in comparison to the ones that want to see you running out of a building screaming.
So what does that say about America? I mean, really?
Exactly.
They want to see the negative stuff and all the horrific stuff.
Exactly. And one of the things that we pride ourselves in is anything that we put out there, it's 100%, as what we're saying. So anything we're saying on TV, what's coming out of our mouth, as opposed to what you might be seeing on the actual screen, because there's been a couple shows that we've been involved with over the years to where we're saying something and there's a reenactment happening on the screen that's not the same thing we're talking about. So, I mean, you have to really watch that when you're watching these shows and stuff. But, I mean, Marie and I, our credibility is everything. So there's been many of times, years ago, especially when we first started doing TV, to where we literally, I remember one time Marie literally walked off the soundstage. Like we were out filming in Los Angeles, and she literally got up and walked off, and I hear all the guys in production screaming like, oh my God, like she's not going to film? Like, what's going on? And like, because they were trying to get her to say something that wasn't truthful, and she was not having it. So I can tell you that in recent productions, like Marie and I, we've gotten into these little, funny we've made them funny with the directors and stuff, but we're like, hey man, you can't handle the truth. Like, this is what happened. Like,
I love that movie that came out. What is it? It has that saying in it.
Oh, you can't handle the truth.
Few good men or something. Yeah. I take that saying all the time now. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, because.
But we joke around because they're so used to people feeding into that, where that doom and the gloom and stuff. Like Marie and I, we're not those people. We're not going to do it. As far as like the story is the story, we're just going to tell you how it was.
And not everything's a demon, like a lot of people like to say. I'm sorry to say, people are bad in the real world. Well, when they pass away, they're bad people,
Sure.
even in the afterlife. So
ghosts are people too.
So it's not always, even though stuff are happening bad around you, it ain't because it's a demon. I mean, it could be just that person's a mean person in the spirit world. So, and you're getting it.
Well, I agree. Not everything's a demon. In fact, like you were saying earlier, I mean, super, super low chances of even ever coming in contact with a demon. And
no, I mean, it's very rare. It's very in the demonic cases, people don't realize. It's when you're finally onto it. Like, you don't have to go get a research a book to figure it out. I mean, you'll know it once you're on a demonic case. In my experiences, when I've been on a demonic case, like, my life was falling apart before I even showed up to that case. And things that happen that are so personal in your own life by being involved with that case, completely. I mean, it's very clear.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here. I'm sorry. My phone's cutting out, I believe.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought I agree totally. It's kind of sad that we're to a point to where everybody wants the negative instead of the positive stuff. When you're in this field as paranormal investigators, and you set out to help people, families, entire groups and towns and things like that, the first thing they say is, well, is it a demon or is it negative or this and that? And when you do have someone to come up that says, well, maybe that guy was just not happy. Maybe that ghost
Mm-hmm.
just was a person that wasn't happy, and they're not really trying to hurt nobody or scare anybody or anything like that. So maybe
Right.
that's a good side of the negative, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree. I always said I had this one aunt that I had actually two aunts. One that when you went to go get her hair, to do your hair, she pulled the crap out of your hair. It was just like you knew you were going to go out with bleeding scalp. And then I had the other aunt that was so tender and nice. So I always say that. That's how it is with a ghost. I mean, they might not intentionally trying to hurt you, but they were sort of not very happy people in life. They're not going to be happy in the afterlife either.
Right.
I think that's so common. The misconception is that the moment that someone hears a growl come through an audio recorder, or someone had 3 consecutive scratch marks, which means that it's a mocking of the Holy Trinity. I can tell you, Marie has been attacked. I can't even count how many times. I mean, countless times on investigation.
But I don't call those all attacks.
We call them communication.
I honestly, I'm in there asking for the spirit world to communicate with me. Go ahead, touch me, everything. Well, it's touching me. I mean, you don't know how many minutes after I say, hey, do you want to communicate with me? I give you permission to touch me. Well, it could be 10, 15 minutes. They finally got what I said to them, and I'm walking out of the room already. Well, maybe they're trying to reach out to you and touch you. And you don't know what that, what's going to be. It could be like, maybe I'm allergic to the spirit world. Like, I mean, people might be allergic to nuts and, berries and stuff. I could be allergic. That's the reason every time they even try to touch me, I get red or I have marks on me and stuff like that. I mean, people really don't know. And I mean, there are some cases, I will say, that I know it was bad and someone was trying to intentionally hurt me. But it's the experience when you're actually feeling it. But some cases you're not. I think you're asking for them to reach out to you, and they are. So I think a lot of people just need to know what experience you're having at the time of the they want to call attack. I just say communication.
Yeah, I mean, and the reality is, even as investigators, this experienced investigators have been doing it forever, been living through it forever, is that we really don't know paranormal side effects. We don't know if there is side effects of the paranormal. We know that we can gain possible attachments. We know that we've seen people become very depressed when they've gotten themselves too involved in the field. People becoming obsessed. Family members, are divorces. I know many people have divorces. We've seen tragedies happen in the paranormal community where there's been even murders with investigators. Now, is it because of the field? I mean, are they, are we building up all these things and we're not properly releasing them? We don't know. We don't know the paranormal side effects. We don't know how it affects our daily life. I mean, we are haunted on a regular basis, and I couldn't even give you that answer 100%. But I mean, some people legitimately, I think, don't really understand that when they do get, like Marie said, they get these scratches in their back. The spirits are trying to reach out to you and talk, and you just walked out of the room because you didn't get a response quick enough. And they think you're the one that's rude. You know what I mean?
Well, true. I agree. I believe, and I've seen this through investigating, spirits have a hard time contacting this side of the veil. And
right.
How much energy do they actually have to push to be able to reach across the veil? They may be just not trying to hurt anybody or scratch anybody. Like you said, they're just trying to communicate, and it just came across a little harshly. And, so...
Yeah, almost like they're blindly reaching through that veil and sometimes not even knowing what it is that they're, fully reaching out to. And just the same as sometimes it takes like you've been in locations, I'm sure, where, you sit there for 20 minutes trying to communicate with these things and nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden your team, you guys get this talking and joking around about something else. And now all of a sudden the activity started. Now you have to question, well, why did that activity all of a sudden just start happening? Well, I believe that we use like emotional energies when we investigate, like Marie and I do. We use fear, we use anxiety, we use laughter, sadness, and we do it sometimes with intent to help with manifestations. But oftentimes in cases, if you could ever like look back, for me, well, we recently had a situation. We were doing actually a public ghost hunt at the Chandler Music Store, and like there was nothing going on. It was dead. And we started talking and laughing and cutting up, whatever. Immediately,